The Review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Review. It's the online sports guys college football podcast where we talk about everything college football. And if you've listened to us in the past, there is always something to talk about, particularly now that we have crossed out of the season and into the bowl season.
It's the storm.
With a full slate of games this weekend. College football started at 11 a.m. on the East Coast and ended sometime after midnight. And it was bowl game after bowl game after bowl game after bowl game.
It's never really over.
Some interesting, some not so interesting.
Some in a downpour.
We had a game in a downpour. We had Rob Gronkowski racing a dog.
Not interested.
Everything and anything you could think of, plus the vice president showing up in the middle of a bowl game.
Fashion
guys.
So that's why there was traffic. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yes.
Alternate routes.
We'll start with the bowl games, and I guess we'll just kind of go chronologically here, as much as it pains me to do so, because the first game of the day was my Georgia Southern Eagles facing the Ohio Bobcats. And this game, quite honestly, was over before it ever started. Davis Brin just felt like throwing the ball to other people other than his people on his team at the beginning of the game. And Southern dug themselves into a hole they never could quite climb out of. Ohio gets the win 41-21. And that's for the third string quarterback, guys.
And a running back who had only 6 carries on the season going into the game, and he had almost as many touchdowns in the game as he had carries of the season going in. Welcome to bowl season.
That's what you love to see. It's the magic of the teal turf at Myrtle Beach.
I should add that game was played in front of a crowd of hundreds in Conway, South Carolina.
I mean, the lower bowl at Conway was full. So, I mean, you had, probably what, 8,000-10,000 there. Yeah, fine.
I had more people at the high school stadium I went to watch D2.
Yes, which we'll get to in a minute.
You did. You absolutely did.
But if you watched 5 minutes of that first game, you probably saw everything you needed to see. The game that kicked off at noon here in our most of us headquartered in the Metro Atlanta area, Florida A&M 30, Howard 26.
Hell of a game.
Interrupted in the first half when Madam Vice President showed up because she's a Howard alum.
Hey, look. When you got the marching 100 and you got the Howard band and you have that atmosphere, there's a reason why 71,000 plus were in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I mean, I think Howard surprised a lot of folks with coming in around 500, had the lead in a back and forth game in the fourth quarter, and Florida A&M came up with the Duke. But no, great crowd. Halftime is unparalleled.
Yeah,
and it's just amazing stuff, Wilkie.
Yeah, that's the halftime show was the main attraction. The football game just kind of happened to be good, but man, those bands put on a heck of a performance, and love to see that kind of crowd for HBCU game, especially one. It's interesting. These schools would rather play in the Celebration Bowl than play for the 1AA playoffs, because it means more to win, to get to that point and win this bowl game because of the exposure that they'll get nationally. I mean, it's wonderful.
Yeah. All for it. I mean, we'll talk about the 1AA playoffs in D2 and D3 because of what Marty is wearing for his chapeau for those watching on the video side, and sporting the gear as well. And I mean, Wilkie and Marty will go at it on the D2 side when we talk about the championship game in front of 12,500. But no, I mean, great atmosphere, great crowd. And it was it's a fantastic idea to have this MEAC versus SWAC championship game as part of the leadoff of bowl season.
Mm-hmm.
And think about the exposure that you're going to be getting for your institution in this, to show the pageantry, to show the crowds, to show the support, all these kinds of things. And no offense to the 1AA playoffs, because we love them just as much. But when you got 71,000 plus in a building, and I mean, look, it is its own calling card for what HBCUs are able to do when it comes to a college football Saturday.
Moving on to the next game in the afternoon slate, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Overtime. That's what we all want. We want overtime in bowl games.
Free football, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Football. Jacksonville State, their first season in the big leagues, so to speak.
The non-crying Jacksonville State.
Correct.
No,
Exactly.
They get the walk-off win in overtime over the Louisiana Raging Cajuns, 34-31.
Freshman kicker, first game, because the kicker for Jack State, I think, had portaled. And so you end up with Garrison Ripa. And there was one attempt earlier in the game where you could tell he was nervous, and they called a timeout, and he missed it badly. Comes back through the other side of the timeout and just crushes it. But no, full credit to an 18-year-old kicker for getting
That's awesome.
Time.
You got, this is what bowl season's about. You got two guys.
Right.
The first two games you got two guys that had like next to no playing time, and they both are the stars of their relative bowls.
And let's give hats off to Rich Rodriguez. Gets a huge win, gets a bowl win for Jacksonville State in their first year in NCAA Division I, and 1A, and a nice rehab to his career as a head coach as he kind of rides off in the sunset with a mid-major team. And you brought up the fact that we've got kids that didn't get a lot of playing time being able to be stars in these bowl games. I'm kind of getting the feeling that bowl season now is becoming like the extra 15 practices and then the equivalent of a spring game against an opponent. I mean, that's what a lot of these bowl games are turning into, with kids deciding not to play because they don't want to hurt their draft status or get injured or transferring out. It's coaches love the 15 extra practices, and I hesitate to call it a glorified scrimmage, but I mean, it's becoming like a spring game.
And it's a chance it's really a good chance for the coaches to see what they're going to have coming back the next season.
Yeah, that's the reward now.
I mean, and I was looking at some of the numbers. Jacksonville State ran 109 plays.
That's insane.
109 plays.
That's on par for a Rich Rodriguez offense, though.
It's just,
I mean, that's average.
When you see that number right there in front of you, you're sitting there going, damn, man. But I mean,
to pull that off with the budget he's working with,
yeah,
it's just amazing.
And I think Louisiana had problems with their offense, and they had to, I think eventually they had to run their third string quarterback out there because of injuries, but they had 3 defensive scores. I mean, 109 plays on one side, 3 defensive scores on another. When we talk about what it's, what these early bowl games are about, what the bowl games are about, getting these 15 extra practices. But when you have a gem like this one, and we had said out of the blocks, keep an eye on this one as one of the early games because of Jacksonville State and their uncrying behavior. You get rewarded, and then you have a game like this. The viewers get rewarded, and Jacksonville State University. You want to talk about a recruiting tool? An early bowl game, a tight game, first bowl game ever in FBS, and you get the win in overtime, and you get to see what Rich Rodriguez is doing offensively with this program. That's going to be a hell of a calling card. His phone is probably going to blow up more than it would have had they not been in the bowl game or had they not been James Madison.
Well, look, Jacksonville State has got stellar football tradition. They were a power in the 1AA. They were a power in Division II. Coupled with the fact that you've got a coach like Rich Rodriguez, that's a household name and has a winning reputation, except for Michigan, which Marty's okay with. you couple that, and yeah, they've got a great recruiting tool, and the fact that they're committing dollars to their facilities and to their stadium, and I think it's just win for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, consistency and backing your staff is a great way to keep your program to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We're moving on to a game played in a torrential downpour in Orlando.
This was
Football
so
weather.
The monsoons of Florida.
Appalachian State somehow manages to pull out the victory 13-9 over Miami of Ohio.
You talk about two blue collar teams going at it. That was it. And the weather was appropriate for that. App State proved to be a better team in the water than Miami O.
They were better swimmers than Central
Oh.
Florida. Pool.
The post game celebrations were the painted parts of the field were the worst parts of traction for those guys. They all ran out to the middle and were just sliding across that celebrating. I saw one dude making snow angels in mud.
As he should. But and you know, the fact of the matter is that with that surface being the way that it was, you know, I don't know if I should give credit for App State because you can't see just how much of that ink ended up on their jerseys, or give credit to Miami of Ohio's laundry staff after this game is over to find out how many times it's going to take going through the wash to get those things anything resembling clean so the players can take them home.
They'll get new uniforms next year.
Oh, yeah.
There's some guy in the back room with a Tide stick the size of a small tree, just
Or any industrial spray
cracking them and dropping them in the washing machines.
that has
Watch
questionable
the game
chemicals in
like
it.
this.
You ain't kidding. Oh my God.
We move on to the Isleta, New Mexico Bowl, where Fresno
That
State.
looked like a hell of a casino and a resort, by the way. I give the Pueblo massive credit. That looked like a great vacation. Looked like the golf course was sick.
Fresno State makes the trip out to New Mexico and hammers New Mexico State 37-10.
It was a dominant performance by the Bulldogs, who were playing with an edge because Jeff Tedford wasn't at the game, and their head coach, and they did a great job of containing and really dominating John Nelson's favorite quarterback, Diego Pavia, throughout the game. He had no passing lanes. He had to do it all himself, and Fresno State just had superior defensive talent, and it was really a great win for the Bulldogs.
And New Mexico just looked like they were stuck in neutral the whole time, like they didn't get
Yes.
off the bus.
Yeah, Jerry.
I think they enjoyed the partying a little too much in Albuquerque.
A little
Well,
too close to home.
Yeah.
Jerry Kill took credit.
Christmas chili.
Yeah, Jerry Kill took responsibility for not preparing the team the way that he feels he should have in that game. Diego Pavia didn't get his 10th completion on the day until late fourth quarter.
Yep.
9 of 22 at one point for 52 yards. Diego Pavia still dinged up, and he was still out there playing.
You gotta love that.
I think the word is 5 to 6 weeks of just rehabilitation is needed. Like don't pick up a football for 5 or 6 weeks if you're Diego Pavia, but he wanted to gut it out. He wanted to be there for the bowl game. Still, I mean, a great season for Jerry Kill in New Mexico State. And for me, one of the top coaches of the year candidates, regardless of, where we're talking here, whether it's Go 5, Power 5, you name it. To me, he's one of the contenders for coach of the year in college football. And there was also a bit of a to-do that Jerry
But to do with the practice fields.
Yeah, the practice fields. They wanted to use, and New Mexico State wanted to use the University of New Mexico's indoor practice facility, but the Lobos apparently made it very, very difficult for New Mexico State to use them. And after the game, Jerry Kill went on a 2-minute, 17-second rant. Colin Deaver, our friend at KTSM in El Paso, has the full thing. Jerry went off on New Mexico not being nice hosts, the University of New Mexico, not the bowl, but the University of New Mexico not being good hosts and making sure that they had easy access to the indoor practice facility. So, what do you want to bet?
The irony of playing a bowl game in your rivalry's home, your arch rival
stadium.
stadium.
Yeah.
Your in-state rival too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're never accepting that bowl again.
Well, what do you want to? I want to go to the next New Mexico State game, just for the level of spice that's attached to it because of what happened during this bowl week.
I'll put $20 right now that there's a hot water tank broken in the visitors' locker room.
That they might paint the walls pink like Hayden Fry.
Iowa style.
Yeah. Or depending what time of year they play, air conditioning and heat, it no longer works.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
10-5 for New Mexico State. Fantastic season for them.
Yeah, 10 wins in Las Cruces.
Yeah.
It's unheard of.
And
That usually takes 2 seasons.
Yeah, you started the season losing.
I'm thinking 5.
Yeah. I mean, you end up starting your season losing to UMass, and then you completely and totally turn it around and finish up 10-5. So great work in Las Cruces for Pancho Killa as Jerry.
Also a very successful season for Tedford and the Fresno State Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Moving on, another California team playing in a bowl game in John's favorite game, the Starco Brands LA Bowl.
Vodka infused whipped cream.
A must for any family gathering.
UCLA gets the win 35-22 over the Boise State Broncos.
Had a lead.
In a game that in captions also called the Bronc Bowl.
Oh yeah, the presenting sponsor / presenter.
Hosted by
I mean,
I just want to know that shot of him and the dog. Which one had the higher IQ in that shot? I'm just so burned out on him.
I mean, you end up with.
I think there'd be a lot of votes for the dog there.
Yeah. So he sang the anthem, and I'll use the verb I'm using is very loosely attached.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I think it was an attempt.
And let the choir go up.
I think it was an attempt.
Yes.
To sing the anthem.
Yes.
How many people were in that choir?
Now, how would you rate that to Carl Lewis's version several years ago?
Ooh. I like Carl Lewis though.
Well,
he's redeemable.
It's not. Well, I was gonna say it's not about liking the person. It's about the anthem in and of itself. That minute and a half.
Yeah, but there's empathy involved when you've got that. You got this dude that as soon as he's done singing, you're going to see a commercial with him.
Yes.
Possibly 2 or 3 in that break.
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you're watching on ESPN Plus, then you're going to see a 15-second promo looped 100 times.
Correct. That is.
They need to stop that ESPN Plus.
He keeps selling you insurance and stuff. Now, was it Rosie O'Donnell?
No.
Level.
No. I mean, it's
Roseanne Barr level.
Barr.
Yeah, Roseanne Barr. Yeah. Sorry.
I mean, no. It was.
The weights are the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, I'm a fat guy. I can make that joke.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
you're allowed to pick on your own.
Yes. Now, I think it's probably more in the line. But the thing is, we talk about it sometimes, and for me, this was more along the lines of a work than a shoot. Doing a bad anthem, Gronk doesn't care. Carl Lewis wanted to try to have a good anthem, and he knew that he was having problems. Gronk, this was a work. He did not care what came out of his mouth. So, no, this was not a shoot. This was a work by Gronk. Absolutely it was. And
never intended to be serious.
Oh, so he sings in quotation marks, and yes, I did just use air quotes for those of you just listening to us, and raced Blitz, the Boise State mascot, and distracted the dog apparently and came up first. 2 reasons for me not to watch that game. The presenting sponsor. And so I didn't. I watched Shreveport. I was watching Shreveport because that game was wacky on the junk from Jump Street.
That game.
Yeah, but it's the Independence Bowl.
That is true. Great crowd.
Texas Tech with a big win, 34-14. Not sure how Cal got at that game, but
did they get over the over?
48. What was the total? I think it was total
34-14.
Yeah. So actually,
because we had questions about that last week.
Yeah, we did. So of course
I think they covered.
college football
Over and a cover? Oh my goodness.
Wow.
For our juice box friends.
Well, and at the same time, the Rowdy Dog actually did pick Texas Tech in this one too.
Well, that wasn't a tough choice.
Two teams at
Yeah,
6.
but Rowdy had no hesitation.
Yeah, Rowdy he dove right in. I mean, that one.
Mm-hmm. As
Absolutely.
well, the rowdy one should.
For those that don't know, check out Puppy Picks on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
The dogs, I believe, currently pick games more accurately than the four of us do.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
don't know. Daisy's 0 for 3.
Yeah, but Daisy's the best trained dog that does it.
She's got that going
Yeah,
for her.
guys, should we move on to the 1AA playoffs?
Sure. Especially when one goes to free football and you have angst and excitement to wrap it up.
Friday's game, South Dakota State laying the smackdown on Albany, 59-0.
Yeah, that happened.
Hi, we're on a mission.
We're on a mission from God.
I feel less bad about Youngstown State getting kicked in the teeth at home by that team, but my God, they're just a machine right now.
Everything runs through Brookings. We all know this.
What is going on in the Dakotas that all the teams over there are just consistently good? Is it because nobody else recruits there and they just get dominant line play? I'd like to
that's
see a
part of
research
it.
paper on this.
That's part of it. I mean, they grow them big on the farm in the heartland, and it's very similar to the formula Nebraska used over the Tom Osborne era.
Yeah.
You keep the farm boys home. You go elsewhere to find your skill players, which is what South Dakota State, North Dakota State, and South Dakota, North Dakota, they all do that. They find those skill players from Florida or the major cities around, and bring them in, and it's been a great formula.
Yeah,
And it's really why the Missouri Valley is a dominant conference in the FCS.
why did Youngstown join them? Oh, just so that when your conference sends 4 or 5 teams to the playoffs all the time, it's a rough conference.
As a Missouri State alum, I feel your pain.
We should go independent together or do our own Tupac.
There you go.
What the recruiting pitches? Yeah,
Or have the Missouri Valley too.
Have promotion and relegation inside the Missouri
Yeah.
Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, update from the game in Shreveport. Texas Tech was a 3.5-point favorite. Total was 56.5. So they didn't make the total, but Texas Tech cleared 33,000 in attendance last night. 33,000. I'm sorry, I should say 33,000 tickets sold.
Oh,
A capacity of 52,000. So
No, there was a pretty good crowd there, and the majority of it was from Texas Tech. They travel when they have a reason to go. When you want to leave Lubbock on a December, you go to Shreveport to the casinos.
sure, no doubt.
That's where some of the people that had tickets might not have left.
I'm thinking Cal
On the
maybe
street.
brought maybe 5 people.
Wrong. Absolutely not wrong. But yeah, it was 35-0 at the half with South Dakota State over Albany. The Great Danes were not. Let's just phrase it that way.
yeah. I'm curious. I'm still curious how we were talking about the recruiting. How exactly do you recruit somebody from the South, say Dakota, to play in the middle of South Dakota?
Want to win a title? If Brookings knocks on your door, you want to win a title. Literally, that's the way it was with North Dakota State and the Bison for the run that they had. You want to win a title? You want to play now? You want to win a title? Bang! That's it.
Do you want
And
to?
they're going to get exposure, and they're going to get looks from NFL scouts. I mean, that's why you go there. And plus, the coaching has been really good. I mean, look at the coaches at North Dakota State that have moved on to the 1A level and had success. And South Dakota State, they usually keep theirs coaching staff intact. So that's why you want to go to those schools. You're going to get seen by NFL scouts, and you're going to get some media exposure.
Yeah. Do you want to be a 100-yard rusher for 2 years at a 1A school, or do you want to be over 1,000 yards for 3 years at a 1AA?
I have a trophy and a ring.
Mm.
And on that note, boys, I have to run.
All right, well then go run, and we'll talk about the other the other FCS semifinal. went to double overtime.
Yes, Montana getting the win 31-29 after North Dakota State unable to convert the 2-point conversion in overtime.
Dude, that game was great. That returner from Missouri. So the guy's returning like crazy. Then he ends up throwing a touchdown pass that ricochets.
Yeah.
That kid was playing out of his mind.
Junior Bergen, if you don't know him.
Oh, look him up. Go watch those highlights.
Yeah.
Holy crap, the end of that game.
I mean, literally.
That was the best game of the day.
It was, absolutely. And Montana goes to 13-1, and they get South Dakota State next week, or not next week, but a couple of weeks from now in Frisco, Texas for the 1AA championship game. And that is going to be a sick contest. I still have South Dakota State obviously favored because of what they've done this season and what they've done in the playoffs. But Montana, on a game like this, where Montana does what they do in double overtime to pull the game out to go to 13-1, it's going to be a hell of a game. I'll say it right now. It's going to be a hell of a game. Might take a little while for the two teams to get their engines turned over when it comes to the offense, which will help Montana, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think the 1AA title game is going to be a fun one in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're going to have a long memory, though, because this game is 3 weeks from the time we record this podcast.
But I mean, you don't want to go up against those other bowl games because that's when you're getting into the meat of the bowl season. And then you got two teams that have played a ton of games with how long the playoffs are for 1AA. So they're going to be rested up and they're strong teams. That's going to be an awesome matchup. Nobody's going to be nicked up. And if they are, they got a good chance of getting healed up and they are there for a championship. That place is going to be absolutely insane. Two good offenses. Oh, man. I can't wait to see what that returner does. They're probably going to be kicking it out of bounds on purpose.
Junior Bergen will
There's
not
no way they're kicking to that
same
kid.
amount of yards that he had last time. That will not happen.
And speaking of crazy games with lots of offense, Marty, you got to go see this one in person. Harding University wins the Division II championship with a 38-7 win over Colorado School of the Mines.
Or Diggers got
a pretty big crowd.
It was a very good crowd. The student sections were awesome. This is what makes college football fun. This is why you go. My wife and I had no rooting interest. We went just for the atmosphere, and it was great. I mean, they're starting to lose in the student section. They had markers and blank signs down there, and they were making signs during the game. Apparently, somebody Googled what the average salary is when you graduate from Harding, and they wrote it and put it up. They were stealing the Ivy League schools that cheer of "That's all right, that's okay, you're going to work for us someday." But then they gave it to the mascot, so you got the mule running around holding that up. That was just a great atmosphere. They absolutely filled that stadium. McKinney ISD, there were people in standing room only sections there. It was just great. If you've got a game like that in your area, do yourself a favor and go.
Absolutely.
Talk about old school college football. Harding ran for 550 yards just running the ball. They threw 2 passes.
I had to double check my program. I'm looking, is this Navy?
Blake Dela Cruz, 27 for 212, and Braden J, 11 for 161 and 3 scores.
Oh, that kid was just breaking off 60-yarders. It was insane.
Cole Keelan, he had a pretty easy day. You just turn around and hand it off to one of the 6 dudes behind you.
He is so fast with that too. I'm sitting here, I'm watching, and between his passes and his runs, he had the exact same motion. There was nothing you could do. And that center, I think the highest he was off the ground, the highest point he was besides standing in the huddle was when he was snapping the ball. He immediately had the lowest cut blocks you've ever seen.
Yeah, so that's up to the crew to call the cut blocks, but yeah, Elon too.
I think there was 3 flags thrown, and there were 2 consecutive pass interferences. They did not care.
Let them play. 2 of 2 for 46 yards on the day for Keelan, but Harding University in a battle of 1 versus 2, because CSM, Colorado School of Mines, was the top-ranked team, and they were destroying people in Division II until this game, and it was all Harding.
Both teams walked into that stadium. Which, by the way, was not a college football stadium. It's actually a high school football stadium.
Yeah.
Both teams walk
Very,
in there
very
undefeated.
nice field. Very nice field too. I got to commend McKinney.
Yeah, McKinney ISD, they did a really good job. Both teams 14-0 coming in, and Harding goes 15-0 coming out. CSM loses and they go to 14-1. But no, I'm glad that Marty got to go to that one and see that environment of 12,500 plus screaming for those two schools.
Yeah, I mean, they were standing room only.
And your Division III champions, State University of New York, Portland, gets the win 38-37 over North Central at a game played in Salem, Virginia.
At the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl. This was a hell of a game. And North Central came in on a 29-game winning streak. Their head coach had not lost a game as head coach for North Central. 29-0 going in. And I will recommend, if you have a way to watch this game, I would go back and watch the fourth quarter, because the fourth quarter was absolutely insane. It was a 41-point fourth quarter. It was back and forth all the way through. The only thing you question is the play call of North Central going for two with about a minute. I think it was like a minute 40 to go. They score. Literally, it was like score. So North Central scores to bring it to 38-37, I think with like 80 seconds to go. They decide to go for two with the Division III Player of the Year, but there weren't enough blockers than there were defenders, and they just got absolutely swamped at the 5-yard line as he tried to tuck and run and go to the corner. And so it finished up 38-37, 29-game win.
What a way to lose.
Over SUNY Cortland is your Division III national champion.
Guys, we've gone on for quite a long time about
because there's a lot to talk about with games,
and we've got
good
more
games.
As we go to halftime here, when we come back in the second half of the show, we're going to talk about something that Chip Kelly discussed after his bowl game. That's an interesting and probably the most honest proposal that at least I've heard in some time regarding what college football should be going forward, plus bowl game picks combined with college football on a budget. That and more when we return for the second half of the review. You are listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the college football review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with two O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports. Do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. You have made it to the second half of the show. And in this half, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about Chip Kelly's post-game news conference after his team's win in the what's the name of the company?
The Starco Brands LA Bowl presented by Gronk. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is Acme involved? I think I saw the Wile E. Coyote in that.
Acme. Exactly.
Kelly went on a little bit of a rant talking about the state of college football and the fact that the Pac-12 is no longer after this season. And he made a proposal that, if you think about it a little bit, makes some sense.
You don't need to think about that at all. Preach, brother.
college football should be kind of separated into basically one big conference for the big name schools and let them play each other and see who wins.
Yeah.
With one commissioner overseeing it.
The only thing I would add to that is, can you call the two conferences the haves and the have-nots? Because that's basically the way you laid it out. 64 teams that got a bunch of money to blow on players and 64 teams that don't.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. It's actually fair and even, which why it'll never happen.
It's essentially the way the game's set up right now. You're in a world where teams, and I keep using the same example, but my alma mater, Georgia Southern, we're never going to win a national championship. We're never going to get to play in the college football playoff ever. But yet we're in the same we're playing on the same level playing field, or supposedly playing on the same level playing field as the Alabamas and Ohio States of the world. There's no way we're going to compete with them. Never.
He believes.
So why not just separate it and let you play against teams that are comparable to what you've got to offer?
Kelly believes there should be one TV contract that includes every conference where potential regional divisions are sponsored by brands and the overall media offering is stronger and more appealing to potential partners. Quote, that's a lot of games. There's a lot of people in the TV world that would go through it. You can sponsor each one. Instead of calling it Group of Five and Power Five, you can call it Amazon, Nike, bid that out to things. You can have the West Coast teams, and then every year we play 7 games against West Coast teams. Then we play the East. So we play Syracuse, BC, Pitt, West Virginia, Virginia. Then the next year you play against the South. You still play your 7. You can play a 7-game schedule. You play 4 teams against another division opponent. So what he's advocating here is a rotation of all of the regional divisions, for lack of a better word. You know, you have 8 by 8, and then like in a 7-year rotation, you end up playing all of the other divisions at least once as your non-division games, your out-of-division games that would be attached to your schedule. That would be a part of what's going on the other way.
Now, his other comment that made even more sense was he's like, let's just do that for football. The Olympic sports, Arizona should be playing Arizona State.
Yep.
Cal should be playing Stanford. He's like, they should just do this for football and let the Olympic sports just stay regional and play how they play. Like, make it affordable for everybody.
And he says Kelly also called for revenue sharing between schools and players, which will never happen.
No.
Which in his mind would alleviate a lot of the murkiness that name, image, and likeness has brought to the sport. The players should get paid. Quote, the players should get paid, and you can get rid of NIL, and the school should be paying the players because the players are what the product is, and the fact that they don't get paid is really the biggest travesty, end quote.
Yeah, you've got 2 bold departures for Ohio State and Minnesota that are directly tied to NIL.
Oh, yeah. You can say that for just about every team in college football right now. You've got guys that are leaving not because they're not playing. You got starters leaving teams.
Yeah.
3,000.
Not looking for playing time. They're looking for money.
You got a player at Minnesota who is a 2nd-string quarterback. The 1st string and the 3rd string both left. And all of a sudden he got an NIL deal leading up to their bowl. Allegedly.
Shocked. Gee,
Air quotes for those listening to the audio-only version of the podcast.
I'm shocked, I say. Shocked.
I mean, look, you basically right now we're in the free agency era of college football.
Yeah.
And you've got, Nebraska coach Matt Rule said it pretty darn well a couple of weeks ago when he said the going rate for quarterbacks right now is anywhere from $1 to $2 million.
Yeah, amazing.
You've got the money. They've got.
Amazing. Once he put that price out, he had a line of people that were offering to transfer. Dylan Raiola, who's already been committed to 4 colleges and he isn't even out of high school yet. He's also played for 4 different high schools. So
yes,
he might actually enter the transfer portal before he gets foot on campus.
Yeah, well, I mean, right now, Raiola is looking like, well, and by the way, National Signing Day is Wednesday, the early National Signing Day.
Might have to do an emergency pod Wednesday.
Yeah, so when it comes to athletes and what you'll see when we have Mary Flipmas on Wednesday, the initial school will sit there and say, we're not telling you not to come for a double negative, but you'll see athletes kind of steer themselves in other directions. So whenever you see an athlete that you claim that is tied to a school and has been ever since day one, I'm declared, I'm going here. Then all of a sudden they end up going someplace else midweek. It's because the first school, the school of the first part, isn't telling them not to come, but they're not telling them to come. And so it's up to the athlete to make the move and go to that second school, the party of the second part. So we'll see how much of that happens.
Wink nod.
Yeah, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So,
Yeah, but we've also already got starters from one school, like Riley Leonard from Duke, who's now going to be the quarterback at Notre Dame. Will Rogers from Mississippi State, who's now going to quarterback at Washington. And
Kyle McCord, who was the starter at Ohio State, and this is allegedly and is recently published by the Columbus Dispatch, apparently asked for more NIL money after losing to Michigan. And it's all of a sudden transferring, supposedly later today, recording day being Sunday, is going to go to Syracuse. Just pay him outright, and that'll take a whole big segment of this movement out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can't tell me that's not free agency.
Oh, it's a question.
Completely.
Absolutely is. No question whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I get the idea of a kid not being able to not playing someplace and wanting to go somewhere where he would have a better chance to play. That I understand. But if you're already an established starter someplace and you're leaving to go to another school, and not necessarily even a school that's as highly ranked as the one that you were leaving to go to somewhere else, can't tell me there's not money involved there. And it's all about
McCord. It was a guarantee to start.
Yeah.
He wanted to, and that's on you to earn what you keep what you kill. You gotta go out there and take the job, not just leave it so open for interpretation.
Correct.
But, as a senior, you can't believe some people for moving and trying to just get a little bit of playing time and get some good game film.
Yep. But no, so Wednesday's the start of it all because Wednesday's early signing day.
Fax machine appreciation day.
Correct. Portaling continues until January 4th. And then you have signing day in 2024, the first Wednesday in February. So all of this stuff, one lends to the other, and so it all starts on Wednesday. So we'll see who has a Merry Flipmas, by the way.
I want to know who the idiot at the NCAA that sets this schedule, that puts, you have bowl season starting. That is not the time that you open up the portal. You also don't put it in when you're getting new recruits, because that's that's a fly in the ointment for every which way you're going to do that. Somebody doesn't commit, all of a sudden they want to flip somebody else. You need to stagger these. I mean, it's just, we need to make Chip Kelly commissioner of the NCAA.
Most of these dates were set long before the transfer portal was even a thing, and they just haven't bothered to move them.
The NCAA can do whatever the hell they want. Move them.
Yeah, well, and also what you need to do, and this was a point that was brought up to me by the boss, is that how are you going to juggle athletes who are on the Porter's system who flip or portal in the semester system? You have all of these issues that are attached to that as well. It's like, all right, so I'm not done with my quarter, but I'm going to flip and I'm going to portal someplace else. And so it's academics and all of this, obviously.
Now we are good half hour into the broadcast, and as the first time we have said academics.
Oh. And so that means we need to catch up on the bowl games that are coming up this week, right?
Yes, that does mean we need exactly to do that, because there's a long list of games. Starting off with the famous Toastery Bowl.
A famous Toastery is a breakfast and lunch outfit, a restaurant chain in the Carolinas. And so they are attached to this particular bowl that traditionally is in the Bahamas, but the stadium was being renovated, so they had to find a place to move it. They moved it to the Charlotte campus.
And Marty, you'll be happy to know that the get-in price for this right now, you can find tickets for, thank you, $18.
Ding, ding, ding.
You didn't even get to hear who's playing. Western Kentucky and Old Dominion.
Old Dominion's 4.5.
Okay. Western Kentucky's involved. That's an automatic ding, regardless of price.
Yeah.
We've established that this year.
ODU's a 4.5. Your total's 51.5. ODU on the money line is a -192.
And after that, you've got a game that is not too far away from where you're currently sitting,
Oh,
Marty. The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl in Frisco,
Yes.
Texas.
well, I've already got tickets, so that's a pre-done ding.
Free ding.
Mhm.
My nephew Noah will be attending with me to continue our tradition of going to all bowls that are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Are you trying to get him recruited? You trying to get him recruited as a lineman by Texas San Antonio? Is that how this works?
He should be a tight end. He's a strong basketball player. He's got good hands, knows how to block and release. Scored a touchdown at Jerry World last year when they had scrimmages out there. He's a machine.
$32.
Now I'll know if he's watching the podcast because he'll come up and say thank you. But
Yes.
we'll find out.
$32 get-in price right now. Texas San Antonio is an 11.5 point favorite. Your total is 53.
And they're playing Marshall, by the way.
It's true.
Marshall.
I'm going to take UTSA just because I hate Marshall from having to play them in the playoffs at their own stadium for the championship game a couple years with Youngstown State.
Yes. Huntington
Back
West.
in the good old days of 1AA football.
Oh,
Led by the Georgia Southern grad, yes.
Yeah, might have said that for a reason.
Bill shares my disdain for them.
Yes.
Yes. A little later in the week, this coming week, the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl, South Florida at Syracuse.
Get-in price $27 at Ricardo Silva Stadium on the campus. Sorry, that's at Florida Atlantic. I was thinking Florida International. So FAU Stadium in Boca. Get-in price of $27.
I'll take that one.
Dinging already, huh?
Yeah. I want to see if Kyle McCord's dad is down there complaining already and walking into coach's offices making demands.
Syracuse is
Allegedly.
Yeah, Syracuse
Allegedly.
total is 62. I don't think they get to the total. I
No.
think South Florida gets it done.
It's a battle for a winning record.
Yes.
Again, this would be funny if we got a tie again. But I guess I think we're gonna see why Syracuse was looking for a quarterback in the portal. I'm
Yeah.
going South Florida.
To go along with their new head coach.
Oh,
Um,
overhaul.
Kidding, brother.
And the lead up to the Christmas weekend on Friday, December 22nd, Georgia Tech and UCF playing in Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl.
Early
Beautiful
Pirate
Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida.
$48 get in for Tech in Central Florida. I'm already turning my
Hmm,
yeah. I mean,
I'm not feeling it. I'll watch the game again. Another battle to get above 500.
UCF is 5. Your total 66.5. I don't know if they get to 66.5. I really don't.
I think they'll get to 66 just to tease us.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and neither team's that great on defense, and both could score, so I wouldn't be surprised if they hit that number.
I'll take UCF in the 5. Yeah, I think they'll clear that.
It depends how much fun they have that week.
Ybor City, you're on alert.
The Ybor factor is a thing.
Yes, it is, and it's not that far from the stadium. We move on to the games this coming weekend, starting off with a noon kickoff in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yep.
The 76 Birmingham Bowl, Troy and Duke.
This one, I mean, ticket get in at 32 at Protective in Birmingham.
Nah.
Let's see. Right now, Troy is an 8, and the total's 45. Troy will be without John Sumrall, who is taking the head coaching gig. I assume that he's already taken the head coaching gig at Tulane and will not be on the sidelines for that one. Because 8 to me seems like a big number because your coach is gone. I'll take Duke and the points here, but I don't know if they
Duke's going to also be without their coach and without their starting quarterback, Riley Leonard, who's no longer a part of that team.
That's a whole lot of going without.
Yeah. So I don't know if they get to that total. So, but I just think the 8 is just too big a margin. I don't know if they get to the 60s with their totals, lacking all of the head coachiness that is there in Birmingham.
Yeah, I like Troy. I don't think they're going to hit the over though.
Mm,
44.5.
it would be just fun. If for no other reason, I'll take Troy just because I like to see a Sun Belt team beat an ACC team.
Let's go Fun Belt.
Also kicking off at noon that same very day in the same very state, the Camellia Bowl in beautiful Montgomery, Alabama at the Crampton Bowl, Arkansas State and Northern Illinois. And guys, Butch Jones got a team into a bowl game.
Another battle of 500.
Oh, dude, everybody at this, if you're playing this early, you're at 500. Everybody gets a bowl game. All you have to do is not have a losing record.
Get-in price is $22 at the Crampton Bowl, and Arkansas and Northern Illinois is basically a push. Actually, it's dead even. Arkansas State is a 1, and your total is 53.5. Arkansas State slightly ahead on the money line at a -115.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take Arkansas State.
I'm with you. I'll go Arkansas State there.
Butch Jones Reclamation Project continues.
And you?
Moving on for probably the winner for, well, no, not the winner for the cheapest game of the year, but one of the college football on a budget best games of the week. James Madison and Air Force playing in the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Tickets as low as $9.
Taking it.
Hit your PSA again, Marty.
Oh, vet ticks. If you can't go to the game but want to do something nice this holiday season, buy a ticket for somebody in the armed services.
And
Vettix.org.
This would be a bowl game to do it because James Madison and Air Force, they get to go to the campus at TCU, 3:30 kick Eastern time. Right now, the numbers on the board have James Madison at 2.5, the total 41.
Over.
Yeah, I'm looking at over here, and I'm thinking, I think James Madison is going to try to prove a point. Money line on this one's a -135 for the Dukes. Let's go Duke. And this is, you have to Mortimer and his brother. They're trying, the Duke brothers. They're trying to get something done against Air Force. I think they do. But buy tickets in football on a budget. Vettix.org. Make it happen, and give an experience of a lifetime this bowl season.
I'm taking Air Force because I'm not going to back crybabies.
There you go.
Wah. Go Air Force. And, if you do go to this game, they basically have a veteran from each one of the armed services parachute in with a game ball. It is awesome.
That alone worth the price of admission.
Yep. Yes, it is.
Other afternoon game that Saturday, Georgia State and Utah State playing in Boise, Idaho at the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. The winner gets buried in French fries.
I'm in. I'm going to see if I can sign up to be an assistant coach and if I can get some fries action with that.
No, they're going to be cold, though.
Yeah, they're cold crinkle fries by the time that they dunk it on the coach instead of it actually being the potato itself. And it's just
we need to combine this with the ranch bowl, and so you can dip them.
Yeah, so you get Dukes.
It also would be interesting if they actually were freshly cooked French fries.
Little grease pouring out of that that Gatorade tub.
The winning coach ends up with like second-degree burns. You're kind of like,
See, the ranch would come in handy to help cool the burn.
Grab all of that up. What's happening down there on the field?
Oh
$19 game, and I don't think we've taken anything in Boise yet for the season, so I'm taking that game.
Yeah, Utah State's a 1, 61.5 is the total.
Battle of 500 again.
I got to go with Utah State here. I just think it's a long trip for Sean Elliott and the GSU Panthers. I got to go with Utah State here. I think that they'll get that one done.
Would Idaho actually be a vacation point for people from Utah? Because they're both pretty cold this time of year.
Yeah, I mean, you could ski in Utah and you can ski in Idaho, or go ski in the Palouse when you're done. So
yeah, I don't know if it's necessary.
Lower elevation, so they might have an advantage for training in high altitudes.
Yeah, because I don't think Boise, Idaho would be someplace that people from Georgia would be targeting on their vacation.
And I think if you're going from Georgia and you're a Georgia State fan, I think you're going and you're probably parlaying it into an extended vacation someplace else.
Go see the Children of the Corn Museum.
winter cabin or skiing or something like that. But no, I think if you're going for Georgia State, I think you're parlaying it into an extra longer vacation around Christmas.
In your night games, South Alabama and Eastern Michigan kicking off at 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday at the 68 Ventures Bowl, which I have no idea what the hell 68 Ventures is. They play in Mobile, Alabama. Your getting price, $21.
I'm taking that just for it's probably the only opportunity I have to see either one of these directionals.
True.
And it'll answer the question of what 68 Ventures is.
Aha. Okay, we have our answer. 68 Ventures is they are a multifaceted corporation because
I'm still trying to figure out how South Alabama got a bowl game and also doubles as a home game, yet they're they're the visitors.
68 Ventures has 9 companies, and
So it's a misnomer.
well, yeah. So 68 Ventures offers real estate services that deliver results for clients, customers, and partners. Our bold vision and drive are transforming the Gulf Coast.
Alrighty then.
And 69 Ventures is probably a completely different website.
That is definitely
Because we want to keep the family friendly rating on YouTube and Spreaker, we're going to not go into that detail.
good luck. So
I dropped my joke.
Marty's probably thinking about Times Square about 25 years ago. That's where he's going there. But yeah, 68 Ventures is real estate services, and it is tied to the Gulf Coast. So it is a local sponsor that is trying to draw business and interest through them to transforming the Gulf Coast. You know what? Maybe you get a house as a part of your swag bag.
I don't think so.
They lower your closing costs.
Card for a real estate agent, but that's about it.
Financial consultation if you wish to purchase something there along the Gulf Coast if you are a player of either team. I got to go South Alabama here. I don't know if they cleared the 15.5 though, but I got to go South Alabama.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm just completely throwing a dart for this one, and as is traditional, I'll cheer against any Michigan team. So I'm going to take Bama.
There you go.
Again, look what the world's coming to, and a Big Ten Ohio State fan is cheering for Alabama in a bowl game.
No, it's South Alabama. It is different. It is South Alabama. You're okay. It's a home game.
The only relationship is the fact they have the word Alabama in their name.
That's true.
Yeah, still. On principle, you cheer against regions.
Yes.
Speaking of regions, the 7:30 kickoff on 7:30 Eastern time kickoff is the SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl featuring Utah and Northwestern at Allegiant Stadium in beautiful downtown Las Vegas, Nevada.
Correct.
Getting price right now starting at about $73.
I can't quite do it. SRS Distribution is the fastest growing network of independent roofing and building supply distributors serving the United States.
Well, that would tie into the previous bowl.
See, there you go. See, now what you do is you do a +1. The winners, you do like a consolation bracket, and you pair these two bowls together for a game 16. You end up with the winners playing, and you get like something where distribution and housing and roofing come together, and then the losers have to build that.
Yeah, to be honest, the roofing would probably be a good tie into the Gulf Coast.
Yes,
the weather
you could
down there.
subtitle the game of less interest bowl.
Yes. So Utah and Northwestern
both above 500.
Yeah, I want $73 get in. I can't do that. Utah 6.5, total 41.5. I gotta go.
If you're going to Las Vegas, you can do a lot of things for $73. That would be more entertaining than this game.
Yeah, I think Utah gets it done. And Northwestern's going to keep it close to the vest. I don't know if they get to 41.5, but I think Utah wins it.
Yeah, I got to go with John. You got a Big Ten team in Northwestern against a team that plays like a Big Ten team in Utah. Just Utah does it much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a team that will be in the Big Ten next year.
Correct.
Will Northwestern, will they get relegated?
Northwestern will get relegated to the Missouri Valley, and they'll promote.
Or put them in the MAC.
See, now if they did that, but yeah, I mean, it would make sense to possibly pro-rel through the Missouri Valley, and then you bring up South Dakota State. How would South Dakota State do in year one in that conference? That'd be pretty sweet. That'd be an interesting.
Probably take out Maryland and Rutgers.
Yeah,
For sure.
Oh yeah.
be an interesting one. 10:30. Marty, are you still going
Oh.
to TC Ching and the Bowls?
Yeah, your college football bowl games after dark. The Easy Post Hawaii Bowl featuring Coastal Carolina and San Jose State.
Most underrated social media account ever. Follow the Easy Post Hawaii Bowl on the 280 character app. They are amazing. I mean,
And we're going to find out just how dedicated Coastal Carolina fans are, because that is a long trip.
10.5-point dog, and your total's 54. I don't know if they
And
get.
there's no direct flight, so they're going to be making some flight transfers on the way.
Everything goes through Atlanta, so you're probably going Myrtle to Atlanta, Atlanta to LA, or maybe you get a direct flight from Atlanta to Honolulu, but you're probably going Myrtle, Atlanta, LA, Honolulu. San Jose State's a 10.5-point favorite. Your total 54. I'll take Coastal and the points, and I'll take the over. I think that this will have a good last bowl game before Christmas after dark feel out at Clarence TC Chang. That's my gut.
You sound right. I hate, usually we try to, most shows will try to disagree just to yell at each other, but I got to go with John here.
$38, just a couple days before Christmas. Ding,
I'm in.
ding, ding, ding.
I just want to see Santa Claus in an Aloha shirt. Oh, yes. And again, John was correct with the, I don't know who's running social media. Hopefully it's the same person as last year. They're awesome.
Follow.
Yeah.
Don't know, go back and look.
Yes. When the bowl game didn't happen, what Easy Post Hawaii Bowl did on their 280 character platform was nothing short of amazing.
We're not going to give you all of it. We're going to make you look. You got to work for it.
It also means you have to get on that horrific platform known as X Twitter. But
It's Twitter.
The character app is fine.
yes, but that's a separate conversation for not a college football podcast. Guys, I think we have covered a whole lot of ground here in the last roughly hour or so. What do you say we put a wrap on things?
Okay.
Next week, we'll talk about some of these bowl games that we just previewed, and we'll look ahead as we get closer, ever so close to the college football pick six and some of the bowl games that actually mean something. For OSG Nelson, for Brother Marty, I am OSG Phil. We are the online sports guys team. Oh, and for Brother Wilkie, who had to leave a little bit early. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We will talk to you sometime around Christmas when we record the next podcast. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe and visit our website, onlinesportsguys.com. Come back, Brother J-Dub. Come back.
We miss you.